Hey guys, Joe here. Welcome to the Netflix Cowboy Bebop review marathon. I'm going to be doing one review per episode with an overall series review at the end of episode 10's review, which means 10 videos all in one go. I'll be uploading them as I go, so make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you know when the next video is up. I'm going to be uploading them throughout the entire day, so stay tuned. Well, with that out of the way, let's get on to the review. Oh yeah, I also want to lay down some ground rules. I will not be, comparing this show with the original anime. It's simply not fair since it'd be so easy to say it fails in that regard, and therefore is no good. Instead, I'll be reviewing this show on its own merits and as a standalone. If someone who has never heard of Cowboy Bebop watched this show, would they think it's a decent sci-fi, or would they say it's a mess of bad effects and confusing storylines? That's the question I'm more interested in. So with that in mind, for the sake of the reviews, the anime does not exist. Although I will break this rule sometimes. With that being said, the cold open for episode 1 is straight from the movie Knocking on Heaven's Door. Although this time, instead of a convenience store, they swapped it with a space casino. I guess they want to be more spacey right off the bat. It has almost identical lines and similar beats to the scene. Only problem is one of the mooks blasts a hole in the casino, and the vacuum of space starts sucking everything up. They do this whole song and dance trying to seal it, but come on, everyone should have died within 3 minutes of that hole sucking everything up. Would explain the rest of the series though, since it would just be a fever dream as they all died right at the start of the show. But, I digress. Episode 1 of Cowboy Bebop Netflix decides to spend half of the runtime doing nothing but setup and exposition, while the second half is a very rushed plot about capturing a wanted couple, Asimov and Katarina. Our main characters of the day are Spike, Jet, and Faye Valentine. The three of them are bounty hunters looking for their next meal ticket. Spike and Jet are a dynamic duo who basically suck at their jobs because they're too reckless and have bad luck when it comes to catching bounties. The show does a good job introducing the two, and their dynamic is pretty good. You instantly get the sense that they're good in combat, but terrible in everything else. Also love the emphasis right off the bat that they're broke and essentially living paycheck to paycheck. Or is it bounty to bounty? In terms of atmospheres and sets, they're both great so far. There's a lot of time spent in one setting, so you really get to take in the backgrounds and environments. The problem is, this took up half of the episode's runtime. They really don't balance it all too well. The writing for Asimov and Katarina, the bounties of the episode, take a massive hit as well. Again, not comparing this to the anime, but in terms of a well-written show, we barely get to know the pair. Asimov might as well be a cardboard cutout, and Katarina's actress is not very good. Her lines are supposed to be delivered with emotion, someone who's in a somber mood but somewhat optimistic. Instead, her lines come off as really stilted and clunky. We're supposed to buy that Spike connects with her over how she reminds him of his lost love, but that scene where they talk to one another just felt like the actors reading cue cards. And the close-up shots of each actor while they delivered their lines didn't help make their conversation feel natural at all. We also don't really know what the red eyes is or what it does. The most I got is that it turns you into Hardcore Henry with the POV action shots. Speaking of POV action shots, the general look and feel of the show is all over the place. They try every trick in the book with POV action, weird flippy shit that the camera follows, awkward cuts after impact, weird close-ups on random things, and most importantly, the Dutch angle. This show loves the use of Dutch angles, and it doesn't work. None of the stylistic flourishes work. It felt like they tried everything in a desperate attempt to make this show stand out more. It just didn't gel, and if anything, screams a lack of identity, since they couldn't settle on how the show should look or be filmed. In terms of action and choreography, so far it's good, although some scenes are really bad. Faye's intro fight with Spike in particular is horrible. It felt like a practice shot they decided to use for some reason. It was almost in slow motion, and the multiple cuts really ruined the idea that they were going for, which was that Faye is a knife user who's fast and fluid in combat. Well, to wrap it up, episode 1 is just okay. It does enough to build the world and set everything up, but at the cost of telling an actual story with Asimov and Katarina, who are basically glorified cameos when you think about it. Well guys, that's it for this one. Stay tuned for the next review. Make sure to subscribe to this channel to keep up to date.